Hello? Hello, hello. Testing. Mic check. 1, 2, 3. Oh, here. Let me drink some of my tea real quick. And then I'll do my intro. Hello, Takwa Journey. Hello, hello. How are you? Hold on. Sorry. Let me drink a little bit of my tea real quick. Okay. But yes, welcome to the stream. Yeah. Hello. Oh, yeah, let me do my intro. Sorry. This is not my first stream, I promise. But hi, Lala. It's Star-LaLa. This imperfect star wants to share her music desires to the world. Hello, Elbrus. Hello. Welcome to the stream. Yeah. So yes, this stream will focus on the book First Year Teaching for Dummies. So if you know the For Dummies series, they create a lot of, educational books on various different topics, like even ranging from like coding, what else? Oh gosh, like I think even like sports too. So like just think of anything and like it's like a 50-50. Most likely that there will be a book on it from the For Dummies series. Hello, KFC. Hello. Oh, whoops, I just realized how big the chat is. Uh-oh. See, this is what happens when trying out a new chat. Where to put this? Cause yeah, my other one wouldn't extend so far out, but this one kind of does. Him. Maybe we'll put y'all at the bottom right here. So let me move some stuff around now that I got this different YouTube chat. Wait, hold on. Okay, I think that should be okay. We'll make it just a bit smaller. So let's say once it does go up, then it shouldn't block me too much. Not too much. And then let me move the sub goal. So yes, as you see, there is a sub goal right here. So right now we are at 160 subs. If we can get to 200 in the near future, then I will debut a new model. Not a super crazy debut. It'll be a very soft debut, but a debut nonetheless. And actually, it's really hard to see that font. I'm gonna need to hide this real quick. Last minute things to do on stream. But this is what happens when I try doing new things. Let's see, can I change the color? I should be able to. Hey. Can I not change the color? Oh, there it is. I'm about to say, there's no way. There's no way. Okay, there we go. That should be a bit easier to see. Okay. And then let's move that back to like maybe right here. Good enough. Actually, we can make it a bit smaller. Ooh, maybe I could put it in the box. Hold on, we're gonna put it in the box. Yeah. That way it's easy to read. There we go. Now I can show this again. Alright. Sorry for the hold up. Hello. Welcome everyone to the stream. So yes, for a little bit of background, I am currently a pre-K teacher. This is my 6th year in education. I've been teaching, or I've started teaching back in 2020. So yes, during the fun COVID times. So that's why I'm very, very excited to share a bit more of my knowledge and experience when it comes to education, because I've been a teacher, I've been a teacher assistant, a paraprofessional, so dipping my toes in a little bit of those positions. I don't ever want to become an admin or a principal, nothing like that, so don't ask me anything about that. But yes, for sure of being a teacher. So, with that being said, so again, if you missed it, so I'm going to be reading through the first year teaching for dummies. If you don't know the For Dummies series, there's like a lot of books over various topics, like from programming, and I think even, like I said before, sports. So just think of a topic, and most likely there is a For Dummies book for that topic. So this one's more specifically for first year teaching. And here, I'll go ahead and read the summary that is on the back. So if you are ever interested. So right now, if you're thinking about, is education for me? Is it? Then hopefully this stream will give you a little bit more insight knowledge on that. So here's the summary. So teach with confidence in your first year. So you're ready to step into the classroom. Congratulations! First Year Teaching for Dummies helps you sail through your first year with tips they didn't teach you in college. Discover your teaching style, manage your classroom, handle building politics, and build positive relationships with students, administrators, and parents. This book is also your go-to when you need help with stuff like teaching online, navigating unique 21st century issues, and dealing with all the people you'll encounter in your career. Start your teaching career off with a bang, thanks to this Dummies Guide. So I guess this is your crash course right here. If you don't go to college, I guess that's what it's saying. But then, of course, like, if you are going to read this book, you should at least be certified or be in like an alternative teaching program getting your certification. Like, this is not something for you to just read just cause. Hello, Leonardo Luna. Hello. Welcome to the stream. Also, how is the music? I'm not too sure if it's too loud. Like, for me, I made it loud on my end, but I'm not sure how it is on stream. If someone would like to share. But yes, so I only recommend reading this book only if you are about to start teaching, like you already got the job and you are wanting to get certified, or you are certified. The music is such a good volume. Alright, thank you so much, Leonardo Luna. Alright, and then let's see, there's one more thing that's mentioned on the back. Inside, getting a strong start to the year, collaborating with coworkers, selecting a grading system, making learning fun, addressing behavior problems, protecting your students, managing your time wisely, avoiding rookie mistakes. Is this a song from the game from yesterday? Yes, KFC. I'm so glad you recognized it. But yes, it's like, I was really hoping that the OST was going to be on Spotify or somewhere on YouTube, but I think the group or studio that produced it, Bus Studio, they really wanted to probably like earn money from it, so I did purchase it off of Steam because I really wanted to listen to it for today's stream. I love it so much. Oh, here, let me fix up the YouTube chat just one more time. That way I can cut off this bit of it. Okay, there we go. That way it does stop right there. Okay, nice. But yeah, so pretty much as I read through this book, I'm just going to, straight up read from it and then give either my tips, advice, or my insight of what's being talked about. Because when was this published? Does it tell me? Are you gonna tell me when you were published? 2023. Wow, that's pretty recent. So yeah, there should be quite a bit that I can give insight on, since that is actually pretty recent of this book coming out. And here, I was gonna go through the contents, the table of contents anyways. So, contents at a glance. I think there are 6 parts to this book, and there's like a few chapters in each part. So, in a bit, I'm about to start with the introduction, and then we'll see how much I can get through part 1 today. So, part 1 is part 1, what they didn't teach you in college. So, either you, or it's like if you did go to college, and maybe this book is gonna talk about things that we didn't learn in college, in which I did go to college for education. So also to, I guess, add more to my credibility, I am a human development and family studies major, which is like under the umbrella of education. It's like, I know it sounds like kind of out there, but that's under the umbrella of education. And then I am also, and I also got my teaching certification alongside my degree. Did you write this book? Oh, no. So, For Dummies is like a series where it is like they write books just to give, like, I guess, general information on stuff that you are wanting to learn about. So let's say if you want to learn about C++ programming, there's a For Dummies book for that. If you want to learn about the basics of golf, there is a For Dummies book for that. If you want to learn about Java, I'm just naming like kind of programming stuff. But yeah, Java, there is a For Dummies book for that. So this is published by John Wiley and Sons Incorporated. So yeah, no, I did not make this book. I did think about, like, a long while ago of possibly maybe making a children's book. But we'll see. I dream big. I have a lot of things I want to do. I want to make my music. I want to make it big with that. I want to write a children's book, maybe also about music. Yeah. You should. We'll see. Because they ain't easy, especially with, like, the amount of children's books there are these days. I think it is, like, a very competitive market. Yes. So, part 1. So, there are 3 chapters with part 1. So, chapter 1, what have you gone yourself into? Chapter 2, dealing with society's nutty notions about teaching. Okay. And chapter 3, how things have changed in the classroom. So, I was going to originally start this stream at 12:30, but then my mother wanted to eat lunch with me last minute. So, I had to push back the time. And actually, this time did work out really well, because it gave me also time to run errands and whatnot. But because of that, I probably won't be able to stream as long as I would like. I think I'm going to have to end stream like around 5:30 p.m. my time. So it's a good thing I also have the time on stream. So yes, it is 3:43 right now. So we'll see how much we can get through in the next 2 hours about. Put in published author on a resume sounds really good. It would sound really good. But we'll see. Because, I mean, there's a lot that goes into, like, making a book. And producing it. Publishing it, even. Alright, before I start reading. Oh yeah, and let me confirm that there are 6 parts. So yes, there are 6 parts to this book. And in total, that is 21 chapters. So throughout the year, so this year, and most likely into the next year too, I will progress through this book. So the goal is to try to get or finish part 1 today, but most likely not, because that's including the intro and then the 3 chapters. Unless I just straight up read without giving advice, but I do want to. Advice in my insight. Okay. So now let's go ahead and go to the introduction. Let's see what they have to say for the intro. So I guess if you are slightly a tidbit interested in education, then yes, please stick around for the stream. With that being said, here we go. So, teaching is a profession adorned with platitudes. And when you're in training, you hear them all. They are well-intentioned, as are the people who are constantly posting them to your social media accounts, but they're not particularly helpful. Here are a few quotes that elicit a groan whenever we read them. Each is attributed to the people generally recognized as the original source. If you have to put someone on a pedestal, put teachers. They are society's heroes. Guy Kawasaki. A teacher affects eternity. He can never tell where his influence stops. Henry Adams. Better than 1,000 days of diligent study is one day with a great teacher. Japanese proverb. I'm hot for a teacher. I've got it bad. So bad, I'm hot for a teacher. Whoa, okay. Van Halen. And I mean, it still happens. I think it was just last year where a 4th grader, now 5th grader, because a new paraprofessional joined us, and she's on the younger side, but this male student immediately was like, "You're so hot, you're so pretty," and was touching up all up in her hair. Is like, oh, okay, we do not know boundaries. Oh, hello, Dylan. Just wanted to stop by and quickly say hi. And say you're looking pretty today, and I wish you a good day. Take care. Thank you, Dylan. Wishing you well. Thank you so much for stopping by. All these inspirational quotes are meant to tell you that teaching is an important job, that educating the next generation is a noble goal, but no one is arguing that fact. Everyone knows teachers are important and underappreciated. Here's something people may not know. Teaching is hard. I agree. So that's going to be the very first note. Teaching is hard. If you think it's easy, go into the classroom. Become a teacher yourself and you'll see. Or if you are even doing like tutoring, because tutoring is kind of still like teaching. Yes, you're not teaching to like 20 plus kids, but if you struggle with that, then just wait till you get into the classroom with 20 plus kids. Goodbye. So yes, teaching is hard. Oh, and another point that I want to type. Something that was also said. Oops. Teachers are underappreciated. Because it's true, we are. If you argue that fact, then I'm gonna hurt you. I'm kidding. YouTube, it's all a joke. So, legendary interviewer Terry Gross, host of National Public Radio's Fresh Air, explained it honestly and succinctly. Oh my goodness. Why must they use SAT words, the complicated words? In a recent television appearance, she started her professional career as an 8th grade teacher. I got my BA in English with a teaching certificate. I was literally fired in 6 weeks, for not being able to keep control of a class or even keep them in a class. Her teacher training did not prepare her for the realities of a classroom. Oh, well, yeah, that would do it. Even if you don't struggle with classroom management, there are plenty of other challenges you'll face as a first-year teacher. Can you manage your time well? Can you communicate with parents and administrators effectively? Can you make your instructional content interesting enough to hold the attention of a class full of 5th graders right after lunch? Oh, yeah. And then it's like 5th graders are more on the older side. Imagine doing that for pre-K. Because I'm a pre-K teacher. Once you're actually in the classroom, the reality of teaching erodes the idealized version most of us have built up in our minds. Things you may have shrugged off at first, the low pay, the increasingly charged politicization of education, a massive at-home workload, and the expectation that you'll work all hours of the day and night, make you wonder why you chose the path you did. It's stressful, It's isolating. It's hard. A 2022 study conducted by Merrimack College and EdWeek research finds a deep disillusionment of many teachers who feel overworked, underpaid, and underappreciated. After surveying more than 1,000 teachers, they found that only 12% of respondents were very happy with their jobs, and almost half of those surveyed were planning to quit the teaching profession entirely within the next 2 years. Why is this happening? Why are people who were so eager to teach leaving in droves so quickly? We believe that teacher preparation is failing our new teachers. You don't need platitudes. You don't need inspirational quotes. You don't need a 5% discount on school supplies purchased during the first week of August if you present a valid school ID. Oh gosh, that's true. Exclusions apply. See store for details. You need help. You need support. You need to know what you're getting into and what you should do when things go wrong. That's where this book comes in. I mean, that is very true. So let me make that a point real quick. Teachers or upcoming teachers / new teachers need to be prepared. And we will fix up this font size. Let's fix it up. Let's fix it up. I think that's good. But I do highly agree with this, because this is something that is kind of an issue right now, even at my school, and I'm sure it's an issue like everywhere else too, especially because after COVID, pre-COVID, before COVID, that like education was kind of more seen of, like you have to be certified. No ifs, no buts. You have to be certified. Like it was actually hard to be a teacher. It's still hard now, considering that you have to be certified and everything, especially to be protected from getting fired, because that's what districts are doing right now, firing uncertified teachers. But before COVID, it was seen kind of like a very, very hard job to get into, very kind of like quote unquote prestigious. But since after COVID, and even like either like new or veteran teachers, they left the educational field afterwards, that then there has been a quote unquote teacher shortage. And I say quote unquote because it really just depends on your state, your district, the area that you live in. Do you live in an urban area? Do you live in a suburban area? Do you live out in the countryside? So that's all where it's really dependent. But the issue is because of like teachers up and leaving, especially because it is hard. Again, very first point, teaching is hard. That where whenever needing to fill in those positions, districts have now this was a few years ago before this school year happened, but a few years ago because of COVID and like I said, the quote unquote teacher shortage, that they started then hiring uncertified teachers. But then the downside of that obviously is then if they're uncertified, then that either most likely means they have not gone to college yet, or maybe they're in college but haven't gone certified yet, or they're in an alternative teaching program but have not gone certified yet, or they just don't know anything. They're clueless and they just want to get hired to have a job. Because while yes, I do agree that teachers should definitely be getting paid more, at least it gets paid more than your typical McDonald's job or 9-to-5 job at like a fast food place. Which, I mean, money is money. I'm not shaming fast food workers, but I'm saying that at least the teacher pay is better than that. And that's whenever like some individuals took advantage of the fact, you don't have to be certified to just enter the classroom and start teaching. And then you do have those people who were not certified that actually cared about their job, but then you would also encounter a good chunk where they have no idea how to take control of a classroom at all, because they've never taken a class at all on it. They weren't or they weren't in the alternative teaching program yet. They were just now getting into it, but from there it's like, and you're kind of just thrown in there on your own. Like a lot of people think, because this could be applied to any job, where it's like, oh, is someone gonna hold my hand and teach me every little single thing? Yeah, no. You're expected to, do your part, study up, just do your job, get into it. If you do have questions, then hopefully your team around you or people around you can help you out. But if you're expecting that from your leadership team, yeah, no, that's not happening. So that is a main issue, is whenever districts were hiring all these uncertified teachers, that I would like to say 80% of them were not prepared to be in the classroom. And that really showed and caused a lot of issues, to where I believe now, this year, like, oh gosh, last month was just so crazy, just all because of all the reassignments that happened at my school. And one teacher did get pretty much fired from my school to become a district sub because they were uncertified. So yeah, very crazy. So about this book, every first year teacher needs an experienced teacher mentor. And this is true. Once you start working at a school, if you are brand new to teaching, then most likely you're going to be assigned a mentor teacher. And it'll either be someone who's on the same grade level as you, which would make the most sense, or they could assign you to someone who's from a different grade level, which is kind of But yes, mentor teachers are still a thing. So someone they can trust, someone who's made mistakes and learned from them, someone who can give them useful advice. Those people are hard to find. The three of us didn't have a mentor like that when we started teaching, so we learned the hard way. Over our many years in the profession, we slowly accumulated advice based on our own experiences. The cautionary tales of mistakes we and others around us made, and the occasional solid gold nugget of advice panned from colleagues' hard-earned wisdom. Over and over, we found ourselves saying, "If only I'd known that when I was new, it would have saved me so much trouble." That's why we wrote this book. There's no reason that every new teacher should have to build their own bedrock of institutional knowledge and go it alone. We wanted to take all that advice and experience and distill it into one volume so that you are better prepared to succeed right away. Although we, as a diverse team of three, have a broad knowledge base, we wanted more for this book. We wanted to present a comprehensive view of teaching from many different perspectives and stakeholders in the educational process. So we talked to lots of different people, including prospective teaching candidates to find out what they were the most nervous about, student teachers to identify pain points and skills they needed to develop. Student teacher here. I was a student teacher during my university years, so I can't wait to read on that, because it really... Okay, I don't know if this sounds bad, because here and there, since I went to university, I did student teaching, got my certificate, and then I started actually being a teacher back in 2020. So throughout the years, I would encounter student teachers, and I don't know if this is just me kind of being jaded now by education, just because. And the same can be said for any teacher who's been in education for as long as I have, or even longer than I have, where it's just kind of funny seeing student teachers and just how, I guess, innocent they are, just because they really have no idea. While obviously I do, just because I've been doing it for a while now. And it's I am happy to share my knowledge and all that with the student teachers, because I think, I wouldn't say these were actual student teachers, because they only came to my classroom, I think twice, because I had two I had two students who, for some reason, the admin team just threw in my classroom for the day. So I did let them stay with me, and they asked their questions and whatnot. But even the type of questions that they would ask me, I don't know. It just, I guess it does make me happy, but also just kind of, oh, you don't know what you're getting into, huh? But it is a very understandable of them being so curious and the questions that they were asking. But it's just, yeah. Because I'm just in the mindset of, right now with how kids are, especially after COVID, it's definitely not the same. So as this book pointed out, is this is not, education, teaching is not as ideal as you think. I hate to say, you're going to have to grow a pair if you want to get yourself into teaching. Especially with how kids are. And I say this from a public school perspective. If you're at a private school, yes, that's completely different. Charter school, I would say, is even worse. So, yeah, that's where I'm just in that mindset of just, it must be nice to be innocent before you jump into teaching. Where was I? Oh yeah, I got sidetracked as usual. So, first year teachers who shared stories both inspirational and tragic, experienced teachers who have seen and dealt with it all, principals who explain what they expect from first year teachers, district administrators who provided insight about how they evaluate new teachers, school staff who provided insight into the day-to-day operations of a school and how they interface with teachers, former students to figure out what teachers do to make their lives better or worse. We've tried to anticipate every important decision or situation you'll face during your first year teaching so that you're prepared to respond. You'll find tons of real-life examples and plenty of those "here's what you shouldn't do" stories, some of them unfortunately starring us. This is our way of helping you measure how deep the water is before you dive in. Yeah. Because, in a way, even if you read this book, and I know I haven't read all of it yet, but it's kind of also if you take the classes in college, so college, even video courses, alternative teaching program courses, even this book, that you really won't know until you actually get started. Because I do know a teacher who's uncertified at my school, where I really think that no matter how many questions she asks, and they would be your typical questions from someone who really has no idea about education, how do I manage my classroom, how do I do this, how do I do that. And I know she asked me and a few other experienced teachers. But the issue is the execution. If you're not going to do your part to actually execute it to where you have the students meet your high expectations or your behavior expectations and actually put in routines and procedures, then it really doesn't matter how many questions you ask, and no matter how much you hear from other teachers. And it does not matter, even if, let's say, you read this book, if you're not going to do your part to implement it, to execute it, then it does not matter. And I think that's where people fail to realize, because with this new teacher, because this is her second year teaching now, and she's uncertified. Because at first she was in kindergarten, and then for this school year she started in 3rd grade, but then because of reassignment, and also second grade only had 3 teachers anyways, and so they needed a 4th teacher that she now moved to 2nd grade. For each grade level, hello Rice Shower and Haru Urara, hello, how are you? But yeah, so for each grade level, kindergarten, 3rd, 2nd, she's just expecting these students to already be perfect. Like, especially whenever she would jump from kindergarten to 3rd grade. Because I used to be in 3rd grade. So she asked me, how are 3rd graders? And I told her, well, I mean, for this year's group that I had, it's like, sure, they were on a rougher side, but because I did my classroom management, I put in my routines and procedures, and same with my partner teacher, who I call the doctor, because she does have a doctorate degree, that we both are very strong teachers, I would like to say. So, it is manageable, it is doable, but that's only if you do your part. And here she is just going, oh, okay, doesn't sound too bad. She was awful. Classroom management, who? Huh? What's that? Rules and procedures? What? The routines? Hello? So that is the main issue. So, like, again, even if you read this For Dummies book, even if you ask all the questions that you want to other people, if you're not going to implement it, it really does not matter. So, let's see. Oh, foolish assumptions. So, this is still the intro, by the way. I really don't think I'm going to finish all of part 1 today. Technically, I'm not even on chapter 1 yet. Because I see my scrolling text saying chapter 1, but I totally forgot about the intro. But we will touch chapter 1 today. But here we go with the intro still. So it says, foolish assumptions. We don't assume much about you in this book, other than that you're probably involved in, or just finishing, a college or postgraduate educational program. You know all the theory, you can write a lesson plan, and you're filled to the gills with educational psychology. We aren't going to revisit any of this well-trod ground. Instead, we're going to focus on practical advice. One assumption we don't make is the grade level you're teaching or planning to teach. When we were writing, a lot of people asked us, is this going to be a book for elementary teachers or secondary teachers? The answer is both. Carol taught elementary school, Florticia taught middle and high school, and Mike taught high school and college classes. When we sat down to plan out the book, we discovered over and over again that the same advice applied, regardless of the age group you're teaching. In some rare cases, some tips are more applicable to students of a specific age, and we call that out when it occurs. In which, fun fact, yes, I am an elementary teacher. If you weren't here for that bit, I am a pre-K teacher. Oh, and I guess I haven't shared all the grade levels that I've taught. So yes, I am in pre-K. I've also taught 1st, 2nd, and 3rd grade. So yeah, yes. I don't ever want to touch middle school and high school. No, thank you. So let's see. I will skip this part because it's just about the icons in this book. But here we go with Beyond the Book. So in addition to the pages you're reading right now, this book comes with a free access anywhere online cheat sheet. Okay, we're going to move on from that. So where to go from here? We think the first 3 chapters provide important context for the rest of the book. They help oh goodness, here we go with this word. Differentiate. It's like different, but then adding EA. Differentiate this book from most of the other teacher preparation books out there by presenting a realistic picture of what you're walking into. However, if you want to skip right to the practical advice, you may want to start with chapter 4 and go from there. We recommend reading through as much of the book as you can before you start teaching, because you may not know what you may not know, you know? As you read, you may find yourself disagreeing with us here and there, and that's fine. These strategies worked wonders for us, but our goal with this book isn't to make you into our disciple. We just want you to think through challenging situations before they actually arise. If that means you come to different conclusions than we do, so be it. You'll still be forming your own strategies and policies. And that's what's most important after all. This book is our love letter to you. It has been a joy to work together to distill our life's work into something that we hope you find useful in your new journey as a first-year teacher. And then they share their email, And just saying we'd love to hear from you. So I guess for just one more note for the intro. So let me see. Let me see. Was there something? What was I sharing? Oh. You need to do it! I know it's a little bit cut off. Let me see. Okay. So you, the new teacher, the new person getting into education. Again, like I shared with the other teacher who, second year teaching, uncertified. Like, all of last year's, towards the end of the year, since she knew she was going to 3rd grade, she kept on asking me all these different questions. She was also asking the partner teacher all these questions. But, like, it just really, like, you can already get the vibe from her that, yes, while she is very, very nice, she's, like, too nice, you know, to be a teacher. Because, yeah, I heard from, like, my former partner teacher, the doctor, that, yeah, it was not a good time for her. Like, I did ask her at the beginning of the school year, like, hey, how's 3rd grade going? And she was like, yeah, it's going well. But then I asked the doctor, it's like, it's not going well. And then I asked, like, why? What's going on? And then it's like, well, you know, during, like, this time, the students are actually supposed to be, like, sitting down and learning, you know? And I was like, yeah, common sense, yeah. And then she was like, well, during this time, she just lets the students run all around the classroom. They're just, like, straight up running, screaming, talking, and just like, is the teacher in there? Yes, she is. So, yeah. So I was like, well, I guess get that free paycheck, I guess. But if you really do, that's where it's like, if you're really not gonna care, if you're not gonna do your job, just quit. That sounds mean, because I know, like, you know, you have the job because you got bills to pay. But it's like, if you're gonna just not, you know, care to do it, and especially when there are probably, like, upcoming teachers or other teachers trying to find a job, and they just haven't been given the chance to, you're just, like, taking up that spot. It was like, if you're just gonna be a waste of space, just leave. Oh man, I'm very harsh. But that's just because, like, I take pride in my work, you know. Okay. So now, here we go with actually chapter 1. Maybe I'm too mean. Good thing I'm not a mentor teacher. And this is where I also don't think I can ever be a team lead for a grade level. Because then, like, each grade level you have, like, your team of teachers, usually ranging from 4 to 6 teachers, depending if there's also, like, bilingual classes in your grade level. And you would choose one of the teachers to be the team lead. Okay, KFC, good night. Thank you so much for stopping by the stream. I greatly appreciate it. Wishing you a wonderful night and hope you rest well. But yeah, so each grade level having your set of teachers, and you choose one of the teachers to be the team lead. In which my team lead for pre-K, very, very nice. But maybe a little bit too nice as well when it comes to, like, talking to certain team members on the team. And this is where I'm just like, why can't you not just approach them? And it's like, well, and I guess that's where it's like, well, again, good thing that maybe I'm not the team lead, because I would be blunt. I would be just like, you know, if something is wrong, I'm going to ask you straight up, hey, why are you doing this? Or why aren't you doing this? And I can see where it's like, probably not the best approach. Alright, before I start reading chapter 1, let me hydrate real quick. Okay, and then let me drink this now. My vitamin C. Because even though, yes, I'm on break, I gotta still stay healthy. Alright, so here we go with Chapter 1. What they didn't teach you in college. So what's this? So, I guess a quick, brief summary of what this part will be about. In this part, learn what life is like as a first-year teacher, confront society's preconceived notions about teachers, discover what schools really think about all those educational theories you had to learn in college, and explore how things have changed since you were your student's age. Oh yeah, because they also got student input, so that's going to be interesting. And now for In This Chapter. In this chapter, exploring how teaching compares to other occupations, understanding the unique demands teachers face, anticipating the challenges you'll face before your first day of work, coping with the chaos of your day-to-day life. So, I'll do my own notes. I was gonna put these 4 bullet point notes for this stream, but I think, I'll just do my own as we read through the chapter. So Chapter 1, what have you gotten yourself into? Most new teachers are shocked by how different their perception of the teaching profession and teaching itself tend to be. In order to reduce the transitional shock from perception to reality, this chapter focuses on some of the biggest unexpected adjustments that you'll need to make as you earn your stripes as a teacher. As you read this book, you may find that not every single thing applies to you directly, but you can still find underlying commonalities that affect all teachers. In addition, remember that even though teaching probably won't be exactly the way you pictured it, by no means should you fear those differences. The little unanticipated variations from the expected are often what make teaching the job that so enticed you in the first place. How did I get into it? So, I guess a little bit of a lore drop for my new viewers, my new La-La lovers. So, whenever I first started college, well, even before I actually started college, let's rewind way back. I really thought I was going to be a professional tennis player for some reason. Because I played tennis in middle school and high school. But then the harsh reality of sports. I learned that pretty much in your typical fashion way, losing to a very strong opponent. So I was like, okay, so being a professional tennis player ain't going to work out. So what the heck am I going to do? So now upon entering university, because I was like, and I'm not saying community college is bad, but I was like, I don't want to go to a community college. I just want to just jump into like a big university, a 4-year university. So then here I go into university. But then since I had no idea what I wanted to do, here I am listening to my parents like, maybe you should do something in business. And then I was like, maybe I can do something business technology related, like business and technology. So I was going to major in something like that. And fortunately, with the business major, they make you do a pre-business, I guess, plan before you actually finalize your decision to major in business. In which, for me, I think I only lasted 1 semester being in that in that major. What really did it for me, was accounting 2. So I took accounting 1 in the fall semester. That was fine because I did a similar course to that in high school. But once I got into accounting 2 in the spring semester, I think it was after just the first 2 classes, I was like, I have no idea what the heck is going on. I really don't think business is it for me. So I changed my major. So before I could declare my major into business, I went ahead and just changed it to technology. For some reason, I thought that, you know what, I really do like technology. let me major in something technology. So I did that for 2 years. And yeah, no. After the first 2 years, and then hearing how the last 2 years were going to be, I was like, oh gosh, I really have not retained anything. I was like, sure, I like dealing with technology, but to learn all like the programming and the computer languages and all of that, yeah, no, I don't have that talent. So then I had like a mental breakdown, emotional breakdown. I cried and cried to my now fiance, but I was just like, I don't know what to do. And then for some reason, at that moment, in the back of my head, I was like, maybe I want to do something with kids. Maybe I want to major in something where I can help out kids. And so lo and behold, I changed my major for technically the second time to human development and family studies. But then with that major, I would have to get my master's if I actually want to start working a competent job and to do research. And which I was like, right now I'm barely surviving because of my financial aid. So I don't think I can afford getting my master's. And that's where, like, hearing from other people is like, I mean, your best bet would be becoming a teacher. So I was like, I never expected myself to become a teacher, so here I am. And I'll say it was rough. It was a rough journey in university. But here I am now, my 6th year in education. Who knew? Why on earth did I share that? Oh, because I just read the first paragraph. Alright, so real world versus school world. The world inside the school walls is vastly different from the world outside those walls. However, a haunting underlying similarity exists between the teaching profession and every other job that you could have taken. These differences make... Turning to the next page. People refer to the real world in class as in the common apologies. You'll need to know how to divide decimals in the real world. And in the real world, people use these spelling words. So unless you want to embarrass yourself, you need to know what they mean. In this section, we show you how both worlds you'll be living in compare and contrast. How teaching is like other jobs. Though teaching has more dissimilarities than parallels with the so-called real world, you'll find universal laws that hold true in both. Understanding how your new world stacks up to the one you're used to is a necessary first step in preparing for the teacher's life. So now this is from one of the writers of the book, Carol. So your performance will be evaluated based largely on numbers. There are many books written about the little emotional things that make an entire career worth it. Chicken Soup for the retiring biology and life sciences teacher sold type books, suggesting that a teacher is a good one if they make a difference in just one kid's life. The reality is that your proficiency in the classroom will be judged according to numbers, just like in most professions. Ultimately, test scores, grade distributions, and standardized assessment scores speak more loudly than anything else when it comes to administrators, especially early in your career. However, if your numbers aren't quite up to the par they set for you, especially at first, never let that blind you to the good, albeit immeasurable things that you are accomplishing in the classroom. Just because you can't quantify something doesn't make it any less worthwhile of an objective. So yeah, that's where it's like, even for pre-K right now, and this is the sad reality of education, where like for pre-K students, they have to take like a state, is it a state? I don't think it's a state test, but it is a test that pre-K students are expected to take 3 times a year. So beginning of the year, middle of the year, and end of the year. So even starting from pre-K, they are expected to show an amount of growth. And at least with, I will say with pre-K, it is much more noticeable and much more meaningful to make a difference in a student's life then. And I'm not saying this cannot be applied to any other grade level too, but just, given how young they are, and like you're their, like for pre-K teachers, you are their first experience of school. So you can either make that an enjoyable experience for them or a terrible experience, and depending on, how it is for them, that really sets the tone for the rest of the years. So again, I'm not saying this cannot be applied to even like to a high school student, because I know like high school, like, for some students, like their home life can be really, really rough. But there have been movies and stories, actual stories of like even high school teachers being able to make that big of a difference for a student, to where like they go off to college or they are able to pursue their dreams because they were motivated by a high school teacher. Oh, whoops. Was that a bug? But wait, what is it that I want to type? Oh, yes. Admin only see you as numbers. You and your students as numbers. As numbers. Ooh. Hello, Sarah. Hello. How are you? Welcome to the stream. Yes, hello. Are you interested in being a teacher? Are you interested in going into education? So yes, this is the sad reality that no matter how much hard work you are putting into your classroom, in which, yes, depending on your admin, they will compliment you and whatnot, but if you are not producing the results that they are seeking, then at least for them that does not matter. But for you, if you are seeing noticeable and big changes in your students because of what you're doing, then that is what is important overall. But just know that admin most likely don't care. I was blown away the first time my supervisor called my team together and then projected our test scores onto the smartboard. I never gave much thought to how I was stacking up to my colleagues because my school often assigned me students whom other teachers called the quote-unquote bad kids. I loved teaching them because they were a challenge, but it meant that my scores weren't always at the top. I couldn't have cared less. If my boss wanted to boil my life's work down to a number with no context, then so be it. That didn't mean I would. The fact that my students were even generating data points meant that I was doing my job. You know in your heart that you're making a difference. You don't need a test score to tell you that. Which is true. Because like even last year whenever I was in 3rd grade, because that's whenever the big state testing starts for students. So it starts in 3rd grade and it does not end until 12th grade. But because yes, you'll have those students who are either very, very low academically due to various reasons, or they are a bit of the challenging bunch. So again, where they will affect your numbers. But it is true what is it Carol just said, that if they are putting points on the board, then at least I am doing something. It is something. Again, admin and district, they're not going to care. It's like, well, it's because this student has XYZ going on. Or yeah, it's like their aunt just passed away or a relative just passed away. That's why they didn't do well on the test that day. You could tell them that, in which, especially the district, you're probably never going to be able to tell them that. But for them, and in admin, they don't care. They really don't care about the context. They just see the student and the number, the score. That's it. If it's good, yay, good, pat on the back. If it's bad, well, what you do? You're a failure. No kidding. Let's see. You'll get both praise and blame that you don't deserve. Take it all in stride. The good days and the bad days will eventually offset each other. So if things look bleak, give it a week or so, and the clouds will begin to clear. However, this works both ways. If you're feeling on top of the world, don't get too big for your britches. Even the most experienced teacher is bound to wind up in extremely sticky situations, and they always come out of the blue. Always be on the lookout for problems and try to head them off before things get ugly. So pretty much, don't be too confident. Don't get too cocky. Because I feel like I'm talking about second grade team, and I really feel like, at least at my school, the second grade team, there's always problems with them. to put it kindly. But so this year's team, to where they started the year with just 3 teachers, and there would be the one bilingual teacher, but bilingual, they're kind of their own thing. But for the 3 Gen Ed classes, there was like 28 students in each class, which is way too many. So then the 3rd grade teacher had to move down to be the 4th Gen Ed 2nd grade teacher. So that really helped level out the numbers. But so the team lead for 2nd grade, she's uncertified. So that's one thing. I'm saying that for a reason, because she definitely needs to read this book. Like, she is like prime example of someone who is too cocky right now. Too cocky, too overconfident, because she has become buddies with one of the quote-unquote admin. And I say quote-unquote because they're technically not considered an admin member, but they do help out a lot. They are the campus coordinator. But yes, so the 2nd grade team lead, she became very buddy with the campus coordinator, to where like each issue, each little problem, each little complaint, she takes it to the campus coordinator. And this is where the campus coordinator is terrible of hiding favoritism, because she will help out that 2nd grade team lead. But yeah, this team lead is awful, does not communicate with their team whatsoever, is always expecting so much out of the team but does not put in the work herself. And then right now, for the group of kids that she has, so whenever they're dividing up the students to even out the classrooms, she and the campus coordinator, they're the only ones who were like assigning where students were going. So of course she gave herself the higher kids, the good kids, and gave the more challenging ones to the other teachers. So then now I'm sure you're thinking, that's not fair. It's not. And then I hear from another 2nd grade teacher who I used to work with on the same team that, yeah, like whenever they do their grade level meetings with the admin, she's always praising herself. Like, oh yes, my students are so good. Yes, I'm doing such a great job. Well, because you gave yourself the good kids. Like, let's not act as if you made such a big difference now. Now, I don't know how she teaches, so I can't speak much on that. But it's like, if you gave yourself the higher kids and the well-behaved kids, yeah, you're gonna have the better results. I hate to say it like that. But then now, with my principal, so fun fact for those who don't know, my principal got suspended. So now she lost, the 2nd grade team lead lost that connection, and I hate to say it. I think from what I heard through the gossip, that it's like, I think part of the reason of my principal getting suspended is actually because of that 2nd grade team lead. So that's where it's like, well, that's what happens when you get too cocky. So yes, so let's say your first year teaching is going really, really well compared to like some other teachers on your grade level team. Like, don't get too cocky about it. Now, I'm not to say that, let's say if you are doing such a great job, then awesome. But then don't let it get to your head that, oh, I am so amazing. I can handle any class, any student. Hold your breath. I don't get too confident about that yet. So let's see. Oh, okay. I'm at this part. I was like, where was I left before I started talking again? So most people don't want to hear about what you do at work. Even though everyone's been in school and can relate to your job, don't assume that people want to hear about your great lesson plan on teaching condensation to elementary school science students. As much as you may be changing the future and exciting kids about learning, realize that other people's apathy is nothing personal. In fact, keeping most educational opinions to yourself is usually to your benefit. If prodded, many people will launch into a diatribe about what's wrong with education. Second grade team leader, this is her, where she would just talk about what she did to make it seem as if she is, like, I guess, I don't know how you say it. That's like, I guess been trying to, because from what the second grade teacher told me, it's like she talks as if, especially in the grade level meetings, that she's the only one doing such a great job and everyone else isn't. Like, she's trying to get them in a gotcha moment. Which is not the way it's supposed to go at all. In fact, it's like, well, the teachers at my school, they're very easy to share, like, their opinions and whatnot. But then at other places, not so much. Because then you'll get people like the second grade team lead, where the moment they hear something that they know that admin will not like, then she's going to report it to them immediately. So that's where you also have to be careful of sharing your opinions. So I guess I will make that my next point. Be careful to share educational opinions. So how teaching is unique. This is by Flirticia, who is also another writer of this book. My first job was a corporate job. I was a quality assurance analyst with a corner office. Business suits, elevator music, the whole thing. I can't possibly overstate the culture shock when I transitioned into teaching physical education. I thought, how hard will this be? We'll just have fun and play all day. And then I stepped foot into the classroom. It was so loud. There were 30 little bodies running around, all of them with their own needs, and they are all screaming. Susie's feelings got hurt, Johnny just barfed, and 8 kids need to go to the bathroom right now. I had a moment where I questioned all of my life's decisions all at once. My dream of marching into a room of perfect angels eager to learn from me evaporated instantly. Yep. And that's to say that yes, like those coming into education brand new probably think they're gonna be perfect little angels, especially whenever they think about pre-K from my perspective. Yeah, no. Those little ones will eat you alive if you let them. But yes, very, very true. Hold on. What did I just read? And then I will say this too, like again, for the new teachers that we have, like first, second year, and they're still uncertified, because I shared with that one teacher where like she jumped from kindergarten, third, and second, that she's having a rough time because she is not being a teacher. Like if you're not going to put in the effort to put in your classroom procedures, routines, protocols, and your classroom management all in place, then they're going to give you a rough time. And this is my advice to anyone jumping into education. You need to develop and then possibly refine your classroom management. Like you need to have at least an idea of how you're going to manage the classroom. How are you going to get the students' attention? How are you wanting to line up your students? What's going to be your protocol if, let's say, 8 students need to go to the restroom at the same time? So you need to think about like pretty much every little thing that of how you're going to run your classroom. Because if you don't, you're going to have a rough time. And my top advice, beginning of the year, beginning of school, you need to be, I hate to say it like this, a drill sergeant. Because even for my pre-K students, I had to be like a drill sergeant, especially because it's their first year of school for a good chunk of them, so they had no idea of what to do. But you need to drill it in them, no matter the grade level. Beginning of the school year, first couple weeks of school to even the first month, depending on your group, you have to be consistent with your classroom management. And then you will see the fruits of your labor. Because if you're not going to have it, if you have zero classroom management or barely any already at the start of the year, it's going to be a tough time. Hello, White Chair. Hello. Welcome to the stream. How are you? But yes, classroom management. I know it's not being talked about yet, but that is my top advice. Classroom management. Oh, you can't see it. It's too big. Classroom management. Oh, no. Please don't apologize, White Chair. I'm doing well. How are you? But yes, I'm still on chapter 1. I think I was being very ambitious of trying to finish all of part 1, which consists of the first 3 chapters. I'll be lucky if I am to finish chapter 1. I think that is going to be the goal, is to at least finish chapter 1. In which I think chapter 1 is on page 27, and I'm on page 11. Where did I leave off? But yes, don't expect the students to be perfect angels, especially if it's your first year teaching. You have to be very prepared. Teaching is undeniably as unique a career as they come, and in many ways, it's completely, utterly, and shockingly different from other jobs. Most of these differences are practical rather than philosophical. And if we sound like we're starting to get a little bit too deep into academic speak here, let us dispel that perception with the first stark contrast we make between the real world and the school world. Yes, today I am reading through the First Year Teaching for Dummies book, written by, it's by the Wiley brand. So this book is written from the perspective of 3 different teachers, and one teacher who's been in elementary, another one who's been in secondary, and another one who's taught high school and college classes. So yes, all 3 perspectives combined together into one book. Yes! And then I'm just sharing my tips, advice, and experiences here and there as I read through the book. Which I think is pretty neat, don't you think? You're getting an inside look from an actual teacher. So you don't get to eat or go to the bathroom when you want. You haven't lived until you're forced to eat lunch at 10:05 a.m. or until you've sweated out the last 10 minutes of a class period with a dire urge to relieve yourself. Are you wearing glasses now? Yes, since I'm reading. These are my reading glasses. Where am I? Biological needs play a bizarre starring role as you get used to teaching. Veteran teachers are so used to the schedule and are so well adapted to it that you can set your clock to the time that they use the restroom. Not that you'd ever want to do that, but you get the point. Do yourself a favor. Oh, so here's a tip. Tip from Flirticia. Do yourself a favor, if at all possible, find out what your schedule will be at the summer before you start teaching and govern your life by it. Eat lunch at home when you eat it at school. Practice a little self-control in the bathroom department and only go at the times allotted by your upcoming schedule. You may consider this preparation to be a little ridiculous if you're not used to such rigidity. It's like rigid and then itty. But yes, if you're not used to such a schedule, it may be an unwelcome surprise later. Which, yes, is true, especially for me. Pre-K is the first grade level to eat lunch. They eat at 10 o'clock. So yes, from 10 o'clock to about like 10:30, that's when my students eat lunch. And so I take my break during that time. So yeah, that's my lunch break right there. Now, very, very good news of being in pre-K is that, at least at my school and district, they have a rest time. So they have a 1 hour rest time. So that's when I actually eat my lunch and take a longer break. Say for Wednesdays and Thursdays when I have my grade level meetings. But yes, other than that, that is when I usually eat lunch. So not the other grade levels are not so fortunate. But at least they have specials like music, art, and PE while pre-K doesn't. So that's when I know some other teachers decide to eat their lunch. This might be a dumb question, but do you stream every day on this week? No, not every day. I'm not going to be streaming tomorrow because I'll be recording for my new song that I want to release in November. But I will be streaming Thursday and Friday. But yes, eating lunch at 10 o'clock in the morning, very true. You'll be expected to do a lot that has nothing to do with your training. Yep. Again, from a pre-K teacher. Even though you spent years preparing for a life of teaching, you're also going to have to serve as the police. Some schools have a safety advocate, security force, or police presence these days, but in most cases, the system is minuscule at best. You'll be expected to police kids as they eat, play, walk in the halls, use the restroom, attend sporting events, attend school-wide assemblies, and so on. In addition, you'll most likely be asked to participate in a school-based activity, sponsor a club, or coach a sport even if you have no experience in that club or sport whatsoever. Flip to chapter 16 for more discussion of extracurricular activities. That's not gonna be until a good while from now. Oh my goodness. But yes, I mean, that is the same right now, especially of what's going on at my school. And another reason why I'm so glad to be back in pre-K, because 3rd to 5th grade teachers, they're forced to do tutoring every week now. But I think it's only like twice a week, like Tuesday, or like Tuesdays is like, let's say math, and then Thursdays is reading. But yes, the teachers are expected to participate in that. And then there's also like some district events that we are required to have a grade level rep. And so last year I had to be the rep for one of the events, which was like just like needing to call like 5th grade parents. It's like, hey, just to let you know that your child failed a state test last year. But now I don't have to worry about that for pre-K. Way! F the other grade levels. No, I'm kidding. But yes, pre-K is great. I love. But then, of course, this is where I know a good chunk of teachers, like even the ones who I know now who teach the older kids, is like, what? You teach pre-K? How can you teach that little? It's like, I don't think I can teach the littles at all. I used to think that too. But at least for me, it's truly not that bad. Now, yes, there was occasional, a lot of pee incidents. There was like one time this year where a student did throw up all over my carpet. Okay, I say all over. It was just one spot of it. But of course, that had to happen right before our rest time. So I had to get a custodian to clean the carpet before we could lay down the rest mats on the carpet. Yeah, that was interesting. And you want to know the reason why that student threw up? Because I told them, no. Dun dun dun. This is what happens when you don't teach your child the word no. But that was the only time of that happening. And I do talk to that parent pretty much every day because they are a walker. Because they live in the neighborhood around the school. But yeah, talking to the parent is very nice. And like I said, it didn't happen again since, because this was the very beginning of the year. So it's expected, especially for pre-K, that if they've never been told no, that they are going to have a rough transition to school, where I do tell them no to a lot of things. Teacher, can I go play in your kitchen area? No. Teacher, can I go use the restroom right now? In a little bit, little Johnny. But I want to go right now. Teacher, can I punch little Bobby? No, you cannot. You need to keep your hands to yourself. Disclaimer, these are the names that I'm using are none of my students. None of my students have the name Bobby, Johnny. Alright, here we go. Oh, here's a warning. Dun dun dun. Warning from Flirtitia. Your free time is going to take a huge hit. True. I'm already gonna say this. True. Most teachers use the term 9-to-5 job very contemptuously. They curl their lips and produce spittle when they talk about people who can just leave work at 5 p.m. and not have to grade, plan, and wonder what to do about that weird kid in social studies who keeps looking the textbook. This is fun. I'm glad you're having fun. You should expect to give up lots of your own time and spend lots of your own money. Also true. I have spent so much money on my kids like every single year. But it is worth it. It is worth it. Especially if you're going to make fun and engaging lesson plans. That's not why I spend my money. If I'm gonna be straight up honest, I don't spend my money on stuff to make my lessons engaging. That's what my curriculum coordinator is for. I spend my money on incentives. It's like, I have a treasure box. I like to buy snacks if it's like a big test and they do well on it. So that's where my money goes. For my lessons? Yeah, no. By the way, I'm playing my piano right now, but I'm watching your stream. Awesome. Oh yeah, and then White Share. Right now the music that I'm playing for my BGM is from the game I played yesterday, Blue Wednesday. Yeah. I had to buy the soundtrack on Steam, but it's $5.99, and I think there's 60 plus tracks. Let me check real quick. Yeah, there's 62 tracks. So altogether, 1 hour 49 minutes. So I say that's worth it. $5.99 for that many tracks. Not too shabby, I say. So let's see. You can find tons of lesson plans in books and online, but you'll find that none are ever quite right for you. You'll spend a lot of time tweaking these plans so that they work better for your kids. Plus, don't forget that you have to master the material before you can hope to teach it. You're about to find out just how much you really forgot from your own schooling. True. Like whenever I jumped from pre-K to 3rd grade last school year, and I think it was more, reading and social studies for 3rd grade. I was like, oh my goodness. Reading was my worst subject. Like, and it's still my worst subject to this day. Like, I hate language arts. So for me to need to teach it, oh boy. That was quite the experience. Your summers are work-free. This difference is no longer true universally, as it once was. We never taught at a year-round school, and we're thankful for it. All that time you spent at school and at home, grading and working yourself to the bone, is rewarded with a little more than 2 months of vacation. Don't be surprised, however, that your summers are rarely, if ever, actually vacations at all. Don't forget that you have to stay certified, and that takes a lot of classes and workshops. Furthermore, you're not earning a king's ransom, so most people take extra jobs during the summer. I have a question. Did anyone get upset or sad when you learn something they don't like? Like, do you mean that, like, in general, White Chair? Or are you talking about, like, at school for me, with my students or with my co-workers? Get upset or sad when you learn something they don't like. I'm trying to think about that question. I'll wait for your clarification. Or sorry, your clarification on it. Oh, yeah? Just in general? Did anyone get upset when you learn something they don't like? Well, for me, I am going to talk about it more from a school perspective. That, like, for sure, if a student does not like reading, then they are going to get very, very upset. And then same if, like, let's say they also don't like math either, which was like an issue last school year for me whenever I went to 3rd grade, because I was in charge of reading and social studies, and my partner teacher was in charge of math and science. And a student from my homeroom, they really, really don't like going to my partner teacher because they don't want to do the work for math. And then because of that, they would act out. They would either say or do very sexual stuff towards other students, which we will not get into. Or they would just make all like random noises or try to do things to distract the class. So yes, it does happen. Let's see. Oh, here's another tip. You actually earn all your pay only during the academic year, so summer is technically an unpaid vacation. Huh? Is that a... I wonder where they teach. Because for me, for my pay, like, I do get paid over the summer. It's like you do get paid, at least from where I am, over the summer, as long as you complete a certain number of academic days throughout the school year. Yeah, that student was weird. And they're still having issues right now in 4th grade, which I'm not surprised. But then, now, yes, with me calling them weird, I do think that maybe there is a bit more going on with them. And this is where parents need to be on board to get their child tested for SPED. Because unfortunately, if they don't, then he's just going to have a very, very rough rest of his years, especially once he gets to middle school and high school. But yeah, I really wonder where this teacher has taught for them to say like the summer's like an unpaid vacation, because I still get paid over the summer because I do complete the necessary school days I need to do so. So I wonder if that's not the case for them. Now, I will say yes, like even on top of getting paid over the summer, that if you want to earn more money, then yes, summertime is the best, especially as some jobs do hire like only positions for the summer, or that's meant for the summer. So yeah, that's where you can then make the extra cash. Well, the situation's a little complicated with this student. So there's mom, and there is biological dad, and then there's stepdad. And so I have talked to all three of the parents. And I think biological dad, it seems that the student doesn't really like see biological dad. So yes, I'm talking to him, but he really can't do much on his end. And there was a time that he actually cried on the phone. And I was like, oh, this is not this is not what I was hoping to happen. This was not on my bingo card. I'm kidding. But no, the biological dad was very, very sad, just because, yes, I kept on calling about the student's behavior, and he was just like very sad about it. I was like, oh, okay, well then tell him to stop like touching other students' butts, stop telling them to stop saying inappropriate stuff to other male students. But then from there, I have talked to biological mom and stepdad. Especially if the mom would not pick up the phone, then I would call stepdad, because then stepdad would then add mom to that phone call. It was not on my bingo card, it wasn't, of having a parent cry because of their child's behavior. Yeah, there was an incident where this student touched another male student's butt in the middle of the hallway as we were about to switch classes. So yeah, that was a time. But yeah, I think mom... Okay, I'm not gonna further explain, but mom is aware there is a problem. It's more of the system needing to process all of his stuff. So that's all I'm gonna say right there. We'll stop right there. Alright, let me continue on with this tip. Many school systems will take your annual pay and divide it up so that you receive the same pay during the summertime as you did during the school year. However, some systems will offer you a choice. If money management isn't exactly your strong suit, don't elect to take larger paychecks that end when the school year does. If you're given more money, you may end up spending it. On the other hand, if you know yourself well and you're confident you can set enough aside to make it through the summer without having to bum meals off your friends, you'd be wise to take the larger paychecks that end when the school year does. That way you can be earning interest on your income that much sooner. I mean, yeah, I do feel bad for the students that have to be in the same class as that student. Because I've also heard that, I mean, just like in 3rd grade, that he's also causing issues in 4th grade. Now, I don't think not so much sexually, thank goodness, because about to say, expel that kid, get him gone, get rid of him. But it's more of like anger tantrums now in 4th grade. But either way, so I guess I don't know why they worded it as unpaid vacation. Like they, as it just said, it does divvy up your paycheck to where you do get paid over the summer. But now I'm also thinking in the mindset and also need to think in the bigger picture that where I am, I do get paid a decent amount of money. But in other states or in other cities or in other areas, especially if on the countryside or suburban area, that the pay is not the best at all. So I am needing to remember that as well. Get him out! So I think it is in that thought of for the teachers who are not getting the same amount of pay as I am. Alright, so Flirtitia says, practical potty talk. So if you're someone of weak composure, bear with me for a moment. Most teaching books don't address this issue, but it's one of that most first-year teachers wonder about and are hesitant to address. What if they really need to go to the bathroom and they can't wait until the end of class? This topic is actually a very important legal issue. The key point is supervision. You can't leave your class unsupervised, even for a moment. Therefore, making friends with one of the teachers in a classroom adjacent to yours is essential. If you're a floating teacher, you change classrooms some or every period of the day, you have more work cut out for you. You'll have to find a buddy teacher for every classroom you're in. So this is from a teacher perspective. So if you as a teacher really need to use the restroom, good luck. No, I'm kidding. But like they said, in which, I would say is like, you just need to ask the teacher right next to you, whether you know them or not. It's like, hey, I really, really need to go. Can you please just watch my class for like a minute or two? And 99% of the time, they'll say yes. Because they know. Like, as fellow teachers, like, we know. If things get dire, give your class a good excuse for why you have to leave the room. The principal asks to meet with you quickly after the period got underway, or you have to deliver a note to another teacher and ask your buddy teacher to keep an eye on your class while you're gone. By the way, make sure that the excuse matches the length of time you expect to be gone. This practice is applicable for all reasons that you may need to leave the room. Even if you're just going into the hallway to speak with a student you've sent out for disciplinary reasons, don't shut your door behind you as you leave. This cuts you off from the rest of your students, and anything can happen in your absence. Leave the door open and make it a point to keep looking in on them. Keep this question in mind. If this were ever brought into a court of law, could I prove that the students were in some way supervised? If so, you'll be fine. You're allowed to go the bathroom if you have to. Has anyone cried in your class? I'm in the pre-K classroom, right chair? Yes. But besides my pre-K classroom, yes, I've had tears here and there, like even in my first grade, second grade, third grade classroom. And it was like for different reasons. Like it ranges from a very sad day for them, or there's been times, especially in third grade, where, and I think this was more towards the end of the year, where I have built that relationship with the students. So whenever I have to really get onto them like a disappointed parent, I had one that actually did cry. Ah, poor student. Do you have any helpers in your class, or is it just you? I do have a teacher assistant. So this is where I was going to say, speaking of the teacher potty talk, that yay pre-K for having another adult in the classroom. So let's say if I do have to use it all of a sudden, like if the students are like doing their work real quick or playing with the toys, it's like, hey, I need to go to the restroom real quick. BRB. And most likely the other teacher, again, 99% will say, okay, I need to go after you. So whenever you come back, I'll go. And I'll be like, okay. But, and then I do give even my pre-K students classroom jobs. So I did this, well, okay, I couldn't do it for first grade because it was virtual learning. But I did do classroom jobs in second, third, and now in pre-K. So assigning a job to each student. You're my computer person. You're my trash person. You're my chair person. You're the line leader. So yes, I like to do that. Especially like divvying up like actual things where usually yes, the teacher would do. But if I know that the students are capable of it, then just to assign it for them, so that'll be like one less thing to worry about. Except sometimes it's not so simple. I used to teach in a school that wouldn't let you leave students unattended, but neither would they do anything to help you in the face of a personal emergency. Plan A was, you can't leave your room ever, and there was no plan B. Because I was teaching in the gym, a building detached from the main school building, it was impossible to communicate with, let alone get coverage from another teacher. Even inside the building, it was a challenge. The reality struck me when one of my colleagues actually urinated on herself during class because no one would come to her room and monitor her students for 5 minutes. She was humiliated. Yeah, that sounds really bad. And this is where, like, even for like admin team, they need to really take this into account. It's like, at the end of the day, teachers are humans too. We need to go potty too. How long have you been teaching? So teaching in total 3 years, or 3.5 years, and then being a teacher assistant for 2.5. So in total, I've been in education for 6 years now. This is my 6th year. And then, like I said, like, I've been a teacher assistant for some school years. So 3.5 right now for teaching and 2.5 for being a teacher assistant. The administrators at the school did nothing to change their policies after the event. Adults were still not allowed to use the bathroom if they needed to, and no one would respond to requests for coverage. It was up to me to protect myself. So I went to my doctor and asked her to write me a note that basically said, please let this grown woman pee when she needs to, but to make that sound as medically professional as she could. The school had to make a medical accommodation for me at that point, only because the law required it. Finally, and then I promise we'll move on from this topic, look out for your colleagues. When you have a planning period, pop into someone's classroom and ask whether they need a break. One of my schools had a long 110-minute instructional period. Oh my gosh, that's almost 2 hours. What the heck? Because of lunch shifts, and I can tell you for a fact that there were days near the end of that nearly 2-hour stretch that I wish someone had checked on me. So what I'm hearing for the lesson of this potty talk is be kind. So be kind to your colleagues. That way, if you are in need of going to the restroom, or if they are in need of going to the restroom, then they can help you out. But yes, my school is very good at this, because, like, at least from the teachers who I've encountered, so for right now, like, my pre-K classroom is in the kindergarten hallway, and there's another pre-K teacher in the same hallway as me, that, yeah, we get it. We're very understanding of each other. Was Locke here? Lockie was not here. I think because Lockie started a new job, and 3:30 my time would have been, it was like too late for him. So he did not stop by today. But speaking of potty talk, I really do need to go to the restroom real quick. So I'll be BRB. Let me do my BRB sticky note real quick. But because I don't want to pee on myself during stream. Wouldn't that be a clip? So yes, my BRB sticker. Yeah. Alright, I will be BRB. Hello, hello. Hello. Alright. Good thing I did go, because I was really like needing to go, so it was very ironic. It was during the potty talk time that I was reading. It's like, whoa, what a coinky dink. Speaking of going to the potty. Now, I will say this as a disclaimer, or not as a disclaimer, as a warning that I'm gonna need to head out in like about 15-20 minutes, because I gotta go pick up my fiance. So, very unplanned of not being able to finish all of part 1, which consists of 3 chapters. So we'll see if I can even get through all of chapter 1 today. We'll definitely need to schedule another stream, which yesterday I was planning out my streams for the next month. Welcome back, White Chair. But yes, so since I'm about to have to in stream in 15-20 minutes, this I will definitely plan to do another stream to continue part 1 at a later time. My piano was malfunctioning, so I had to unplug it and plug it back. It's working now. Yay! I'm glad you were able to fix it with the simple unplug it and plug it back in solution. But alrighty, let's go ahead and continue on, because I want to try to see if I can get to chapter 2. Where's chapter 2? It is on page 27. I'm only on page 14. Oh gosh. Alright, so bearing the instructor's burden. Teaching is a unique profession in that you're basically isolated from your colleagues from the first minute of the first school. Oh gosh. Okay, hold on. Let me reread this. Teaching is a unique profession in that you're basically isolated from your colleagues from the first minute of the first school day and are expected to learn as you go with little or no help during the day. It's a difficult chore and a heavy burden to carry, especially when things aren't going well. You think that you could lean on your experience as a student teacher in these times, but you'd be surprised how different your actual teaching experience will be from your time as a student teacher. True. Because even whenever I was a student teacher, I never really had to teach the classroom. Yes, I did a lot of observing. Yes, maybe I had to teach a lesson here and there. I think in total I've had to teach 4 lessons, 3 or 4. But then, of course, the actual teacher was the one actually doing all the teaching. So being a student teacher is nothing compared to... Oops, sorry, I hit my mic. Sorry if you heard that. But yes, being a student teacher is nothing like being an actual teacher, which should be given. But if you do come into the profession being real cocky, thinking it's real easy, then you're gonna find out real quick it's not. So, sink or swim. Have you seen... no, we're not the warning yet. But yeah, sink or swim. Have you seen those TV shows where they demonstrate that babies can swim without instruction as soon as they're born? They toss infants into a swimming pool, and the little ones just swim like tadpoles without a care in the world. That's what it's like to teach. You get tossed right into the water, and everybody stands back and watches. Are they going to make it? They may be in trouble, but let's just watch what happens. Maybe they'll pull through after all, and if they don't, we'll drag them out and throw somebody else in instead. Ooh, that is true. So, yeah, I agree. Sink or swim. Do your job, or else you're gone! It does happen, but not as quick. Now, if you do something illegal, you're out. It's like, you're out that very next second, that very next minute. It's like, oh no, you're gone. But let's say, because this has happened to another teacher at my school, where at first they were in 5th grade, and because they could not handle 5th grade, they were moved down to 1st grade at the beginning of the school year. And then even then, in 1st grade, they were struggling real bad. And due to another pre-K teacher who used to be on my team, she never told us she was uncertified. So she pretty much got fired, essentially. Now, not fired, they did reassign her, but then the moment they reassigned her to a position that no one was ever going to like, if put in the same position as her, that she resigned. So pretty much they did that on purpose to make the pre-K teacher leave. So with me saying that, so now the 1st grade teacher who could not handle 1st grade then got moved to the pre-K classroom because they were a certified teacher. But yes, if you fail to do your part, your job, whether that be getting your certification or legal matters, or you struggle with the grade level that you were assigned to, then you will get moved around the next school year. So yes, it does happen. Depending on what it is, it's not as quick, but if it's something illegal, you're gone. So now here's the warning. Stop and think about that for a second. It's actually pretty scary. School systems aren't interested in making you a good teacher. True. They just want to put a body in the classroom, whether you're good or not. If you happen to be good, awesome, that's good for them. If you happen to be bad, well, they'll get rid of you and just get someone else. They expect you to be good based on your college training. Yep, there we go. Without a whole lot of experience under your belt. Even worse, you're not going to swim very well when you first get tossed in. Teaching your first class based on what you learned in college is like being asked to swim across the Atlantic Ocean with nothing more than those little inflatable armbands, even if you manage to stay afloat. You're going to swallow a lot of water along the way. One of the new teachers we interviewed relayed this story. He was leading his class to the media center for the first time. The class was deemed a quote-unquote behavior problem, or more appropriately, a powder keg ready to explode. So the thought of simply walking the group as a whole to the library was a daunting exercise in itself. After they arrived with no calamity to speak of, he sat his students down at the available computers and had what he considered a rather successful lesson explaining how to use the school's electronic and online resources. However, the librarian contacted him the next day enraged. Evidently, his class was so quiet and focused because they were in the process of stealing pieces of the computer. What? What? Of the 30 computers in the lab, 23 were no longer functional, and the librarian held him flatly responsible for not keeping an eye on his kids. Oh, okay. I was about to say, I was like, oh, is this gonna end with a good ending? Nope, it was a bad ending. The kids were straight up stealing computer pieces. Okay. So remember this. That sort of thing is quite a wake-up call, and it's the result of a common practice among principals. By the way, that teacher-principal relationship is a tricky one, so we discuss it more in Chapter 12. Again, we're not going to get there anytime soon at this rate. You'd think that as a new teacher with little experience and a lot of learning to do, your administration will remove as many obstacles as they possibly could to ensure that you'll be as successful as possible. Unfortunately, this probably isn't going to happen, and it all falls under that sink or swim mentality. In their view, putting you in a rough situation is the best thing that they can possibly do. That way, you have ample opportunity to gain experience. How generous! Here are the most common adversities you'll face as a newbie. You'll probably have the problem kids, quote unquote. If veteran teachers have any input in the scheduling process, they'll do everything they can to make sure that they get a well-behaved group of students or classes for the following year, which means you won't. Before you get too bitter, just remember one thing. They were in your shoes once, and they had to go through the same thing you're going through. They're more than content to let you experience the joy and fun of tough classes. Remember that even challenging classes can be transformed using effective discipline tactics, which we describe in part 2. Well, for me, I feel like the opposite happens at my school. So, and then also this is, I guess, I don't know, is my school too nice? Are we actually considerate? Because if we know that a new teacher is coming in, and it's only just one new teacher, because the answer changes depending on how many new teachers are coming into the grade level. So let's say it is just one new teacher, that brand new teacher that we know is coming in. Then whenever we do assign the classes for the next school year, so at least how it works at my school, we wait till the end of the year, so maybe around like April, May, where we then get asked to place our students into the next grade level classrooms. So for my pre-K one, or for my pre-K students, I will assign them with the other pre-K teachers in their classes at the end of the year for kindergarten. And we are in the mindset, ooh, this student is going to be a challenge. Let's go ahead and give this to the stronger teacher. So whether they be a veteran or a new teacher, like if we know that they are a strong teacher who can handle the challenging behavior, then we actually give them the behavior students. Like because then let's say we know if there's another teacher, veteran or not, if we know they cannot handle those problem students, then we're not going to give them that student. So I feel like we do the reverse of what was said in this book. And I know it was stated at the beginning, in the intro, that there will be things that I will disagree with. So yes, this is one of the big things I am disagreeing with, is that at least for my school and the people who I work with, we do the opposite, where we like to give the challenging students, or the students who we know would be a behavior issue, to the stronger teachers. So actually it's like a double-edged sword. So it's like, it's a compliment that if you're a strong teacher, that's why you're getting the student, but also like, well, now you have to deal with the student. So maybe you don't want to be that too good of a teacher. So where am I now? Okay, here we go. You won't have the greatest classroom if you have a classroom at all. When it comes time to choosing classroom space, veteran teachers will leave you slim pickings. If there are more teachers than available rooms, the new teachers usually draw the short straw and become floaters, the stoic nomads armed with only an audio-visual cart, the one that's so hard to drive because it always swerves to the right when you push it, to hold their meager possessions and stacks of papers to grade. In which, yeah, I kind of did experience that. Because the moment the pre-K teacher that I worked with 2 years ago now, whenever she resigned and I was going to take her over her pre-K position, like that classroom that she was in for like 6 years, they immediately kicked me out. They said, we need to give this to another teacher for her set of kids that she's going to have, which was one of the sped classes. So yeah, I got immediately kicked out of that classroom, which had a lot of space to... And here's what's even funnier. I wasn't even in the same pre-K hallway. Not even in the kindergarten hallway. Guess which grade level my pre-K classroom was at? 3rd grade. So imagine 2 pre-K classrooms in a 3rd grade hallway. Make it make sense. Sorry I'm not talking a lot. It's because I'm playing my piano. No worries at all, White Chair. Thank you so much for still being here and interacting with me. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. You won't get to teach the cool classes. Don't forget that you're not coming into a fresh ecosystem when you start teaching. Most likely that school has been around for a while, and so have most of the teachers, and they've all carved out their little niches. The upper level courses and electives already have teachers whose names are synonymous with them, so don't expect to march in and assume leadership of the classes and coursework that you've always dreamed of. Even if you have terrific qualifications in a given subject area and are actually more qualified than the current instructor, that doesn't amount to a hill of beans. So eat your humble pie and wait your turn. Something will eventually open up, even though you may have to wait a couple of years or more. Which is true. It's kind of like a hierarchy of whoever's been there the longest. And let's say even if someone brand new comes in and they have the better qualifications, that is just kind of hierarchy from there. And same for if needing to decide of losing a teacher or reassigning a teacher, that at least at my district and at my school especially, that they go by the rule, the last one to join the team is the one that gets affected. So if you've been there for 10 years, you're good, you're solid, you're never going to get touched. But if you just join the team and let's say you have to get reassigned to a different grade level or to a different class or even get fired, then unfortunately you're on the chopping block because you're the last person to join the team. Which that rule was applied to me last year because there was not that many pre-K students, so they couldn't justify keeping my class, and I was the last one to join the team. So I had to get reassigned to 3rd grade because around that same time, the 3rd grade reading teacher resigned. They quit. So here we go. For remember, don't let any of this discourage you. Most of the negatives we've laid out here are true in one form or another in any job that you take. Having to pay your dues is simply the way of the world. Although all these things are frustrating and sometimes overwhelming, most people survive and even have great success in the face of such obstacles. It's through the struggle that you gain the respect of your co-workers and students alike. Only through the refining fire of the sink or swim trial do you gain professional stature and experience. Alright, I am actually just going to read just one more bit and I'll have to end stream because it's almost time to pick up my fiance. So yes, let me read this one more bit, finish this page. So I got halfway through chapter 1. I'm only on page 16 and chapter 2 is on page 27. Great times, great times. Maybe because I yap too much. So Jack or Jill of all trades, pretend for a second that you're an accountant ready to begin work in a prestigious office. On the morning of your first day, the CEO of the company comes into your office and greets you. "We're glad to have you on board," he says. "It's tough to find a good certified public accountant these days, and we feel pretty lucky to have you on the team." You grin inwardly, knowing that you excelled in all your studies for just such a moment like this. You're wanted. You're needed. And then he says something baffling. "I know you're an expert in foreign currencies, exchange rates, and that sort of thing, which is exactly the reason we hired you. No one else can chug those numbers with quite the proficiency you can." So far so good, but his look is somber. "Here's the problem. Between the hours of 12 and 2 p.m. each day, we really don't require your skills, so we'll need you to do... So we need you to some electrical wiring work around the office. We saw that you took some physics in college, and we've got an electrician's hat for you and everything. Welcome to the office, and can you fix my lamp when you get a chance?" It's like, hey, look, a two in one. Yes, you're great in all of these, accounting? Is that what it was? Yes, accounting stuff. But for these 2 hours, we don't need you to be an accountant. You're pretty much an electrician on top of that. So a 2-in-1. What a deal. And kind of like with teachers too, where like Well, this is where it kind of doesn't really matter. Your profession or whatever you majored in, like you pretty much have multiple jobs as a teacher. Yes, I teach the kids, but then I have to do customer service of making sure I don't get a parent angry at me or angry at the school or at the district because of XYZ reason. Oh, I'm also a nurse, because let's say if the nurse is ever out, then I'm gonna have to just give the student a band-aid. Or even worse, if a tooth falls out, I need to put it in like the tooth chest or a plastic bag if I run out of tooth chests. Oh, and I also had to be like pretty much a counselor too, especially in pre-K. If little Johnny's feeling so sad that he throws up, it's like, oh, well, why were you so sad, little Johnny? Or if they're just screaming on the top of their heads, then it's just like, oh my goodness, do you remember our breathing techniques? Ah! So as ridiculous as that scenario may sound, it happens all the time to teachers. For example, a choir teacher we know had to teach Spanish classes even though she had just taken a few Spanish classes in college. Oh, and this is true right now too at my school. So our specialist teachers, so our music teacher, art teacher, PE teacher, and library teacher, they like in the like past years of me being at the school, like, and you would assume that they shouldn't need to like teach anything else at all. Like they're just teaching their classes. The PE teacher teaching her PE class. Library the library. But for this school year, because of things are not looking too hot at my school. But because of that, they're requiring the specials teachers to now actually like pull small groups like towards the end of the school day. And this is where, for the PE coach, like here she is telling me, because I used to work with her on the pre-K team. It's like, I mean, I've taught before, so this is like okay to do. But the art teacher, she hasn't taught a lick of nothing. She's only taught art ever. She doesn't know how to teach like ELA or math. So it's just like, so imagine like her jumping into this, like, oh, but hey, you have your teaching certification. That's what matters. Even if it's art, it's still a teaching certificate. So even if you have no formal training in a subject, you just may find yourself teaching it. This isn't such a big deal to elementary teachers who teach just about every subject there is. True, actually. So that's actually, with them making that point, that is true. Especially if teaching... Or no, I guess it is also still applied all the way to 5th grade. But pre-K to 2nd grade, it's only one teacher teaching all the subjects. So yeah, pretty much we are the jack of all trades there. But then once they hit to 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, at least at my school and district, where there will be one teacher in charge of just reading and social studies, and then just one in charge of math and science. But then it is where I think once you hit middle school and high school, from where I am, that then it's only just one teacher in charge of reading, one teacher in charge of math, and one teacher in charge of social studies, one teacher in charge of science. So yes, for those teachers, let's say if they get forced to teach like another subject and they've been only teaching, let's say, math for so many years, then all of a sudden they have to teach math and science, then I can see that being a big issue. But not for elementary teachers. So let me make that a point right here. So this will be the last point that I will make. Being an elementary teacher is like being the jack of all trades. So if you want to think about it, maybe it's a good thing to be elementary, just because of the fact that you wouldn't get thrown off if asked to teach another subject, because then we'd be like, okay, is this your first time here? Wait, hold on. Oh goodness, I'm doing stuff. What is this? Okay, I'm trying to do something else. There's like an area where I can do line spacing. Oh yeah, it's right here. Okay. Here, let me do it a bit more. Okay, there we go. That should be fine. So yes, being an elementary teacher is like being the jack of all trades, especially if you teach lower elementary. Because you're going to need to teach all the subjects. So if you don't want to do that, then I highly recommend you teaching 3rd to 5th grade, where you have to just teach 2 subjects. Okay, let me hurry up and finish this. I think my fiance just messaged me. Ah! So, let's see. But if you're a middle school science teacher, don't be surprised if you're asked to teach a class or 2 of language arts. Most state certifications allow a teacher of one subject to teach out of content area for a couple of class periods each instructional day. Yep. What's your favorite subject you like to teach? For pre-K, I actually do like teaching reading, just because it's more like reading books to them and then asking them who were the characters, what was the setting of the story, where did the story take place. So it's like that type of questions. But if it was like 3rd grade reading, yeah, no, because then it gets more complicated from there. But yes, I would like to say reading only for pre-K, and like if I were to teach like another grade level, and then it would be math. So pre-K, reading, any other grade level, math. Even though math can get pretty complicated in itself. But alright. I'm so sorry to end stream so abruptly like this. I'm gonna need to end it so I can go pick up my fiance. So real quick, I will not be streaming tomorrow because I will be recording for my new song. In which that will be interesting, because apparently they're going to be doing some stuff at my apartment. So I think they're going to be making noises. So we'll see how that goes. But I will stream again on Thursday at 12:30 p.m. CDT. I'll be playing Little Inferno. Yes, I know, very sudden. I have to end stream. I was planning for this to happen anyways, but I just wish that I had more time. Yes, but I streamed for much longer than I thought. I'm sorry, White Chair. You can watch the VOD. Okay, I really gotta go. So yes, wishing you a wonderful rest of your day or night, wherever you're in the world. And I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, bye-bye, bye-bye.